Hey beauties, here with another tapping tip. So this is really kind of important to know, and I try to teach everybody these things, especially children. But those of us who can't get away and go run into a space like a bathroom to do some tapping when something's going on for us, and we really need to do something to keep ourselves balanced and grounded while stressful things are happening. So I discovered this really when my late husband was in ICU and I was talking to doctors and nurses, and there was so much going on and I needed to stay focused. And when we're stressed and everything's up in our brain with the fight, flight, freeze, fawn response, we cannot think straight. We cannot make decisions, and it's really, really important. So one of the first ones is this idea of tapping on the fingertips, called fingertip tapping. And it's on the side of your nail bed, here at the thumb, and then on the edge of the nail bed. And you just can rotate around to do this. It's really easy. I know I've seen people demonstrate it with the other hand and tapping with the other finger, but really, if you want to go undetected, which is the whole reason for this exercise today, is use the same hand. I love to use the first finger, index, to hit the thumb, and then use the thumb on the sides of the nails. And you can rotate back and forth around. Now, this is something you can do with your hand at your side. You can do both hands at the same time while you're walking and talking. I've literally watched someone give a speech on stage, and she started out doing this to get herself grounded and stay calm. It's a wonderful it's a process and a technique to teach children when they're in school and they need to do something like that. The other one I know I've said a lot is to tap in one place that's kind of really undetectable. And so my favorite is the collarbone points with my hand on the breastbone, which is the heart chakra. And when you do this, you're actually touching the finger and thumb to the collarbone points, which are, down below those bones and out a little bit in that indentation. And then you're on the heart chakra as well. So you can use your whole hand, you can just tap your fingertips like this, or you can just hold it there. You can actually rub it a little if you need to. This is a universal sign when you're feeling empathy for someone, sympathy, you're really feeling their pain, or maybe you've just watched something that's, oh my gosh, and it can be very sweet as well, but just this is a very calming thing to do. And I actually heard of a doctor who told a young child of about 8 to do this, to just tap his chest. I thought, whoa, that's so awesome, right? So the other thing is sometimes we're not actually tapping on the acupressure points, but it still works. Where I often will, if I'm walking, I'll use my fingertips on my thigh and just sort of tap my thigh as I'm walking along. I taught a nurse to do this during COVID when she was walking down the halls, and it really, really helped her. She was in high anxiety at the moment. So the other one is in your car. First of all, tapping in your car is great because you can scream as loud as you need to. If you need to just vent, or you can cry, you can do anything, and it's all right. It's safe. But while you're driving, you have to pay attention to the road, hands on the wheel, right? But while driving, you can actually use the side of your hand, which is often used in tapping, but I rarely use it except for certain occasions because I like to dive right in through the points. But this is a really good spot to use on the steering wheel. And just instead of, somebody cuts you off in traffic and you want to give them the finger, give yourself the finger to this on the steering wheel. When you come to a stop sign or stop light, you can then tap on one spot or tap throughout your face, and do the body taps as well. There's an example, a story of that in my book, The Woo Woo Way, you will love, because it's a really powerful anger exercise, which, we women were taught we're not supposed to be angry and we shouldn't do those things. So the other is the idea of also using this point. But I did this. I sort of curled my hands, almost like you're doing that, right? So I did a lot of this when I was in that ICU, in the emergency rooms, talking to the physicians and the techs and the nurses, because I needed to pay attention and understand and focus. But it was also kind of, really amped up with anxiety. So I literally sort of would lean forward with my hands between my thighs or my knees, just leaning forward and literally doing this. Now, the other points like this are you can put both hands together, you can use your wrists, you can tap your wrists. But I found that this was just really cool, just leaning in. Now, this works really well if you are at lunch or dinner, at a meeting, or, maybe you're even on Zoom. You can lean forward and no one sees your hands under the table, resting in your lap, doing that very motion while you're involved in the conversation, really listening. It's so powerful. I had a client who had very high anxiety, and she could never stay through an entire lunch with girls. She would just go into panic. And this helped her do that. She and her husband went out with friends, and it was a dinner, and she was really fretting about it. And I reminded her of this, and she made it through the whole night. So just know that there are those kinds of techniques that you can come up with that will really help you stay grounded. It's so powerful. So right now, I could literally be doing that because you can't see that I've leaned in to do that. So powerful. So let yourself get this reminder. Not to say, oh no, I can't do it, I don't want anybody to see me. Allow yourself to do it. And later on, you can do it again, especially before bed. You can do some tapping to release whatever tension was going on during the day. I hope you'll try it out, and you'll shoot me a message and let me know how you did, or ask me questions. I'm here to help because I see your light. Shine brightly.